Stop fracking around. That's right. Stop fracking around. I'm not an expert on earthquakes. I read different charts. Usually the alignments of other planets and how they affect the planet Earth. Trying to analyze the Earth itself is too much of an obligation because of its ever-changing formations. However, I do know by looking at the aspect lines on this diagram and the giant circles flaring up over the past 6 days, or month, whichever way you want to look at it, with a full moon approaching, we are not yet in the clear. The Earth's gravitational pull with the moon and the sun, plus sunstorms, yes, this could heat up. There seems to be a direct connection, however, as I look at this, between the push and pull of these centers in the diagram, and they are increasing at an alarming rate, ranging from a 2.0 in some regions that we wouldn't normally expect to find, and a 5 and 6 point magnitude in other areas, not to mention the dormant volcanoes. As far as prophecy, well, as an astrologer, I don't even prophesize fatalistic outcomes. However, I like to feel like I can help without handing us all over to God or some deity, because we should just give up and believe in the Bible. I do feel that the Bible thumpers are taking this a bit to an extreme and actually riding on that Christian high horse and rallying everyone to rejoice and jump into the volcano like Joe. I think that's the last thing I'd like to see happen. But there are many out there on YouTube that are doing just that, rejoicing that this is the end of days, followed by a few quotes from Matthew and those other guys. It's funny how the Bible never got around to quoting women. If it did, I suppose they were all sinners. But enough about me. I just wanted to throw that out there. Those who don't normally follow quake activity should start preparing for some event to happen. At least have a survival bag, with some water and some food and some flashlights and some whistles and some glow-in-the-dark things and a little heater. You might not need it, but given the unpredictability of dormant volcanoes now bubbling up like baby Godzillas, you can't be too lost without it. There have been, let's say, nearly 110 quakes in the last 24 hours, give or take a few by the time this uploads to YouTube and I get it fully produced with music and sound effects and all that other good stuff. It certainly is heating up in many locations around the globe. Many dormant volcanoes are also becoming active. Did I say that? Another indication of more earthquake activity, perhaps a very big one. If you live within areas that are doing fracking anywhere around fault lines or within a 100-mile radius, you probably should plan on having an earthquake in your area in the near future. Now, your mainstream media is barely covering this. I mean, it really takes a lot of push from the local media to get it on out there to the national. And they're downgrading the size of the earthquakes as well. The news, however, is saying less about the U.S. and concentrating more on Susan Sarandon's actions in Nepal, which serves as a distraction from what's under your feet. I suppose we will begin having more fundraising for the victims of Nepal, and as usual, we will never know if the victims received their fair share. Meanwhile, try not to get too comfortable in that easy chair and sit back and pretend it's never going to happen. I don't need to tell you all the countries, islands, and oceans that have been hit or are just moving a little too fast, much quicker than normal. You can see that for yourself and do your own homework and research, because frankly, this map looks to be well covered at the moment, and there's no way it isn't going to affect us all eventually. It's time to stop fracking. It's time to stop fracking around. Amen to that.